Silent night, deadly night.
Folks who made it are not right.
An experience not to be missed. If you watch it, you'll end up on a list.
Only in theaters for 1 week. If you want to watch it, you'll have to seek.
Had a small budget, so it was a hit. Life is too short for this shit.
Yes, it is.
It certainly is.
Because, guys, we watched the Christmas classic, Silent...
Oh, a Christmas classic.
Crapsic?
Crass, because it's crass. This movie was dreadful.
This movie was crap.
It was crass. It was
And
crass and unrefined.
it was crass. It's un-American. It's
No, it's super American because people who watch it, like the song said, end up on a list. And I'm not talking Santa's naughty list. I'm talking a government watch list because anybody who derives entertainment from this, it really should examine their life choices.
I thought you were talking about Chris Jericho's list. There's the first wrestling
First one,
bit.
yep. You watch Silent Night, Deadly Night? You just made the list.
You just made the list. So yeah, guys, we watched Silent Night, Deadly Night, like we said, like
The
Nathan
original
gushed
one.
about the
The
Christmas
original,
classic.
not the loose remake.
There's a remake?
Oh, you didn't know? There's this. There's Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. There's Part 3. There's a 4. I believe there's even a 5. And there was a remake that was done back in, I think, 2012.
Oh, I knew there was sequels. And now here's the thing too, before we get too far into this, before because obviously you guys know we go back and forth on our choices every week, every episode, and I was really thinking about doing part two because that's the one that everybody says is like the craziest one.
Garbage Day!
Yeah, yeah, but I feel like you can't do part two without getting this one in at least first.
I don't know.
And I remembered how crazy this one was, so
I
I
had
didn't want to
never
skip
seen
it.
it until, like, this past week when we watched it.
Is this a what were they thinking first?
This is definitely a what were they thinking. For me, it was the first for me. I'd never seen this movie.
Oh shit!
Actually, a funny
Guys,
thing is,
this is
I was even... I felt that the first movie was actually almost unattainable when I was a kid because the video store that I used to rent VHS tapes from, guess I am that old, had Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 as a new release, and I never ever saw the first one like on VHS ever anywheres. I used to like look for it all the time because I didn't. I'm like you said with the number 2, you don't want to start with it because you want to see where it starts. So you want to see the first one, and so I never ever saw any of the movies because I could never find the first one when I was when I was younger. So yeah, this is the first time I've ever gotten around to watching this movie.
I will say that apparently, according to some people, you can start with the second one because 50% of it is flashbacks to the first movie.
That's what I hear. But I am glad I did watch the first
And,
one.
and
Now, anyways.
I don't mean flash. Sorry, I should clarify. Flashbacks as in it's footage from the first movie.
So kind of like that Gamer movie I was telling you about last time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but
There's
I
nothing
am
like
glad I waited this long to see the first one because apparently if I'd gone and managed to see the first one on VHS back in the day, it would have been like 15 minutes shorter than the one we watched or something.
Yeah, I think it's like about 5 minutes difference. based on, because in this film, basically, guys, we watched the unrated cut, and anytime it cut to an unrated scene, basically the film quality got really bad.
Oh, you could really tell.
Yeah, like it was definitely like a Blu-ray DVD thing where like anytime they cut to the cut footage, they never actually finished it. But based on the amount of times they cut to that, though, I would think the finished product seemed pretty tame
Yes.
in comparison.
The uproar, really, from what I can gather from what I've read, is that it was because it was a killer Santa. It wasn't necessarily the slasher gore that got everyone up in arms. It was the fact that it was Santa Claus killing people.
And apparently they accidentally aired these ads in the middle of the day.
Kids are tough. I mean, it was the 80s. It was a different time.
And, some people say, you hear that thing where people say, like, publicity's publicity, and usually, like, people trying to stop movies or protest movies get the movie to make more money. Not in this case. This movie got shut out of theaters in a week.
Yeah, but it was still technically a hit because it was made for, like, $750,000.
Yeah, and it made, like, 4 or 5 million?
In just the 1 week. And then,
Yeah,
like,
so
2 years later, it was re-released. And when they re-released it, the ad campaign was like, the movie they didn't want you to see. Too intense for cinemas. And, of course, it made more money then.
So we can thank the church for this movie, then.
No, the PTA, actually.
Oh, sorry, the PTA. I always get them confused.
It was the Parent Teachers Association of America that they were the ones who staged protests at mall cinemas. Yes, mall cinemas were a thing, kids. They were the ones. What's that?
And don't feel old. I also used to rent VHSs.
Yeah. I used to go to the movies in the mall, and I'd rent movies at a video store on tape.
So this movie, we have a lot to talk about for this movie.
Do we really?
Okay. I think we do. There's a lot of shit going down in this movie.
Yeah, but
right from the opening with that lovely song that we only hear about 20 times throughout the film.
How many times?
27.
27? 27, yeah, okay.
I mean, it's probably not 27, but it
feels like it.
Goddamn close to 27. Yeah. Like, and it's just, I had it written down, but it's not really. Oh, yeah, it's like Santa's watching, Santa's
waiting,
creeping. This is a song I've never heard in any other context, so I'm not sure if it was just written for the movie or.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, as a song in a horror movie, it does its job. Like, it's creepy, it's unsettling.
But the funny thing about the whole movie is that the opening scene, with them going to visit Granddad in the mental institution.
Yeah, you mean the Utah mental facility?
The Utah mental facility, yes. Their car ride is the only real happy Christmas moment in the entire movie. Nobody in this movie has, like, any redeeming qualities at all. Maybe one of the nuns. Maybe.
I would give the one nun is a decent character.
The one who's concerned for Billy's health and well-being.
Yeah, but is she? We'll get to that later. So right off the bat, I gotta say that big animated title of
that one
splashes onto like jizzes blood onto the screen.
Yeah. Lets you know what kind of ride you're in for.
And I also have it kills me when I'm watching a bad movie and they do the opening credits and it says, like, the last one is like, and so as so, and usually it's like a fairly big name actor, but this one was like, and Nancy Borganick as Mrs. Randall. Like, who even was that? Is that the mom?
Well, it was funny because I looked up some of the people. No, I think she was one of the ladies in the toy store.
Oh, yes.
But the people in the movie, like, some of them had decent careers before and after.
Weird.
I don't know how they came back from this movie.
Well, yeah, the grandfather is like a well-known character actor.
He was Mr. Peabody from Back to the Future.
Yeah,
The guy who owned
yeah,
the pine trees.
yeah. He was like a decently well-known
Moderately
character actor. Will
successful
Hair.
character actor, yeah.
Yeah, this movie. I just wrote down 8'3" Chevy Chase Gary Shandling.
What?
That's what he reminded me of.
Oh, okay.
He looked like a cross between Chevy Chase and Gary Shandling, but down about 8 pegs. So basically, we open with like we said, family. We get this family, mother, father, 2 kids, two boys. Although for a while, a little girl.
What's that?
I don't know if you thought the same thing too, but I thought Billy, like our hero, our hero. Yeah, yeah. Because I thought when he was a little kid that he was being played by a girl.
Yeah, I could see that.
It just seemed like, I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to get the SJWs after me or anything, but it just seemed like have a feminine quality to him.
Yeah.
Oh, good, Nathan, we've just been canceled.
You've just been canceled. I didn't say anything.
Damn. Boy or a girl, doesn't matter. It's Billy. Billy is a little kid, and they go
to the loony bin. There, we both
the Utah mental facility. Mm-hmm. Like, is anything called that? Like, I think every place has like a name.
Yeah, it's usually like, Our Lady of Eternal Suffering mental facility or home for the mentally infirm or something like that. It's not just even like they don't just put the state's name. Even if it is like the state mental facility, it's usually got a name.
Is this not a similar thing they did in Critters with the church? Wasn't it
like Grover's Bend Church?
Yeah, wasn't it like... Yeah, it was like the church or something.
Well, I don't... If it was like just the name of the town church, that's not necessarily as odd as having like a government building named, the Mental Institute.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
So this, right away, is probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Oh, crazy grandpa.
Because they go to this Utah mental facility, and to visit old comatose grandpa. Well,
catatonic, really.
Catatonic, yeah, not necessarily comatose, but and then they're all standing there, and the doctor's like, "Could we talk to you?" And they leave Billy alone with Grandpa, who's apparently insane and has gone insane, I guess.
Well, they figure he's safe because Grandpa doesn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, and then not 5 seconds after they leave the room, he turns his head and starts talking to him.
You waiting for Santa, are you?
He warns him that Christmas Eve is the scariest damn night of the year. Now, I got a question. Why this scene doesn't... I get they need to make him scared of Santa Claus before the incident happens, but why this makes no sense.
Yeah, because they don't say why Grandpa's in the mental facility or anything like that, or he was traumatized about Christmas or anything. He launches into this tirade against Christmas and Christmas Eve and how it's the scariest damn night of the year, and if you see Santa tonight, you better run for your life.
Now, my other question is, so he must not be catatonic, right? Has he been fooling the family this whole time? Just Possibly. So he could tell Billy that Santa is scary?
I can just imagine, Dad, we had a son, we're going to name him Billy, and he doesn't say a word afterwards, I'm going to bide my time.
I kind of like Grandpa. He's like the ultimate prankster.
It's like a Kaufman-level prank. No one will be around to see the joke.
Oh my God, Billy's grandpa is Andy Kaufman. Yep. That's amazing. He also does the best, when he when he tells him you better run for your life from Santa, he does the best like laughing fit
Yep.
where he like covers his mouth like I can't even describe it. It's just like a child.
And then when everybody comes back, nothing.
Nothing. No, he immediately goes back to his catatonic state.
Yep.
Which to me, it's like, okay, I don't think he's catatonic at all if he's able to just go back to that like state.
Maybe he's got a borderline personality disorder. He's a sociopath.
Perhaps.
Either way, he belongs in the Utah mental facility.
Yes, he does definitely. He definitely does belong there. And yeah, it's a crazy scene right off the bat. Like that was the first scene I saw from this movie when, just out of context, when someone told me about it, and it made me want to watch the rest of it because it's insane. It's such a strange way to get the plot going.
Yes. Well,
so the family. Oh, go ahead.
Well, it is a strange way to get the plot going, and it's almost like the point that it doesn't necessarily. It just compounds what happens to poor Billy, because you don't really need to have crazy grandpa telling him to be afraid of Santa Claus if what happens next just happens to Billy.
That's true, because the only thing you really get out of this is when they see that Santa, Billy says, "No, don't stop," but he could have just as easily been like, "Santa."
Yeah. Maybe they're just trying to add to the fact that, there's a history of mental disease in Billy's family.
Yeah, that's true. Or they were trying to pad out the 79-minute runtime.
They couldn't even make 90 minutes uncut.
They could, they barely made it to 80.
Yeah.
Oh man. So the family piles back in the car, and this is one of my favorite. Well, not one of my favorite, but like I like this bit here where they're talking about. He tells this family that Grandpa's been talking, and they're like, "Do you suppose Dad talked?" Well, I don't think Billy's lying. And then she says something, and he said about like Santa Claus or something, and he says, "Oh, Mom, you shouldn't talk like that about Grandpa. That's naughty."
Yeah, you'll end up on the naughty list, and Santa will punish you.
Yeah. Ooh, Billy is full of foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Also, we meet the world's worst convenience store employee.
Employed at the AM PM.
Right. This guy in a Santa costume is robbing him, and immediately the guy's just like, "I'm just gonna slowly reach for my gun, even though you have a gun trained on me right now."
Yep. But, if what happens later is to be believed, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have mattered if he had not gone for the gun, or if he had gone for the gun. That guy was dead meat.
Yeah, but in both cases, the person that he had the gun on tried to get away really quickly.
Here's the thing. After he kills the clerk for $35, Merry fucking Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Billy and his family encounter killing Santa on the street or on the road. They don't know who he is. They don't know that he's... They just he looks like a guy in a Santa suit with a car who's broken down. They kindly ask him, "Hey, do you need a lift?" And he's going to shoot them for their car. He could have easily just gone, "Yeah, give me a lift up the road and let me off here." They don't know who he is. He was going to kill them anyways. So, by that reasoning, he was going to kill the shop clerk anyways.
Now, did you notice when they encountered this Santa Claus and they cut back and forth from the car to the street that the car is moving like fairly fast when they're inside, and then when they're outside, they're like right in front of him?
Yeah.
You see like the car speeding down the highway, and you cut out, and they're cut outside, and they're about 10 feet away from Santa.
Yeah. Like they could.
And then my thing is, Santa pulls a gun on them, being like, "Okay, calm down. What do you want? We'll do anything." They quickly drive away backwards.
Well, his car is blocking the road.
No, but like, I don't think quickly driving away may be the best plan.
Again, They were going to
Because
get shot. It didn't matter. That was their best option, was to try to get away. And if they had to throw her in reverse and try to spin it around and get out of there, that was their best option.
so this scene is probably the one that the PTA liked the least.
Yes. Because
Santa shoots Dad in the head.
Yep.
And
Billy
what else
escapes.
does he do?
He rapes Mom.
He rapes
And cuts her
Mom.
throat.
I mean, in terms of horrific rape scenes that I've seen on film, it's definitely not that graphic.
Yeah, it's not Jodie Foster on a
Much
pinball
implied.
machine, but it's still pretty bad. I mean, you gotta take into account the kid is supposed to be witnessing this.
Right, and Rick and his little brother Ricky is in the back seat as well, but I believe he's a baby.
Yeah, so he's not going to remember it.
Yeah, I should say I don't mean baby because he doesn't like he cries. He can't this horrific scene and he's being a baby about it. I mean, he's actually an infant.
Yeah. But it does lead to an interesting point. They should have listened to Billy. Because Billy said, "Don't stop
They
Santa."
should have listened. They should have listened to Billy and catatonic Grandpa.
Yep. They should have ran for their lives because it was the scariest damn night of the year.
So, and this scene also starts the barrage of nudity in this movie.
Barrage is a strong word. But there is a fair amount for a Christmas movie.
I thought there was quite a bit. I was surprised.
For a Christmas movie, definitely.
There's at least 3 separate people.
Yes.
That show everything.
Yeah.
And you also get Billy's hairy ass later. As an adult, guys. As an adult, not a child.
The mom had tan lines. I don't want to take away from the seriousness of this scene, but the mom had tan lines. It was December.
I'm just going to say, what really irked me during this rape scene was the mom had tan lines.
It really took me out of the whole scene.
It took me out of the moment, guys. Like I was enjoying the film and everything, and then the rape scene came along, and I was like, okay, cool. Wait, tan lines, come on.
It's December. They're in Utah.
Continuity, guys, get it together. So after this, I believe then we smash cut to him in this
The orphanage.
The orphanage. And I don't remember the name of it, but is it just the Utah orphanage?
No, it was like St. Bartholomew's or some business like that.
They should have just kept that going for the rest of the movie.
Utah State Orphanage.
The toy store later, it's just Utah toys.
Well, it's Irv's Toys.
That's true. It's pretty close. So, yeah. He's in the orphanage. And this is, to me, Mother Superior, who we meet in the orphanage, is the villain in the movie.
Yeah.
Because she is awful.
She's a dreadful woman.
Like, I know that nuns that ran schools back in the day, like, some of them were pretty awful, but, like, whoever wrote this movie had a vendetta.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, every time you see movies from, like, even the 80s and 90s, and old guys talk about going to parochial schools, and they talk about Sister Mary Frances with their, yardstick or whatever, and how bad they were for discipline. I think this is the same situation, and I think a good portion of this movie is just somebody's revenge fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, like, throughout a lot of it, because, like, this person probably doesn't like Christmas, doesn't like nuns.
Well, I mean, you think about it. After the whole toy store, and Santa goes on his sleigh ride, huh?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
When he starts just killing folk,
Yeah.
they're two-dimensional people who are antagonistic towards other folk. You got the bullies, the sled, you got the babysitter and her boyfriend who don't want to pay attention to the kid at all. All the people that kind of get it through the good portion of this movie, are just two-dimensional people who are antagonistic toward good-natured folk.
That is true.
So I think a good portion of the writing is just a revenge fantasy.
That's what it feels like. Like, um, so yeah, so Mother Superior treats him like shit.
Turns him into a psychological dumpster fire.
Oh my god. Like, okay, for example, guys, a guy in a Santa costume killed his dad and raped his mom. So what does she want him to do? Sit on Santa Claus's lap.
Yeah, he needs to face this. No, no talking to the kid about how the guy who did it wasn't really Santa Claus and Santa's nice and all this, and trying to softly break away his trauma. No, let's just throw him on Santa's lap.
Which leads to I take it back about the opening. This is the best scene in the movie. Because how old is Billy?
8.
About 8?
He's 8.
He punches Santa in the face, knocking him on his ass, and busts him wide open.
Like Mike Tyson.
He's
boom.
Bleeding. He breaks Santa Claus's nose. This is a grown man and a child.
I feel bad for that kid, too, because this is his only acting credit.
Wow, weird.
He couldn't even make it on to, guest spot on Different Strokes, Silver Spoons, Facts of Life, Family Ties, The Cosby Show, any other of those shows that would have been age appropriate for him to be, a guest star on or something.
This was it.
Yep.
Well, at least he went out strong.
I'll say.
But, yeah,
you cold-cocked Santa, there's no coming back from that.
He cold-cocks him. He just, knocks him on his ass.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing I have to ask you. I'm not real familiar with with orphanages. I'm not an orphanage aficionado. But I have to ask...
Got your back. I got your back.
Okay. Back in the 80s, maybe this happened. I don't know. Did random adult couples usually fuck in an orphanage?
I don't think they were a random adult couple. I think they were older teens that either worked at the orphanage or were on the cusp of aging out of the system.
Well, no, I know they were definitely, but I mean adults, they were at least 18, 19.
Yeah. Well, it would have had to have been, right?
Played by 30-year-olds, of course. But that scene was really that scene was kind of disturbing, to be honest with you, because he looks at the people and you get a real long shot going up their bodies as these two people are wrapped in each other.
Mm-hmm. Good use of the language.
Just going it down.
Oh, bad use of the language.
Oh, thank you. Wrapped in each other. Oh, you know what? It's a Christmas present.
There you go. See?
There you go.
'Tis the season to be punny.
See, I'm festive. But yeah,
I feel bad.
And then
these kids or these teenagers, they get beat by Mother Superior
naked.
Yeah, and then Billy gets beaten
for no reason.
Yeah, and she's like, "You went out of your room, didn't you, Billy?" Yeah, because the other nun said it was all right for him to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
He got beat for nothing. It's no wonder this kid turned into a spree killer.
That's what I was saying. When I'm watching these orphanage scenes early, I'm like, you know what? I partially blame the horrific thing that happened at the beginning of the movie with that Santa Claus, but I also blame Mother Superior a great deal.
Yep.
She basically creates this monster after the match was lit. She burned the house down.
Yeah, the kid, I mean, he's drawing killer Santa Clauses. He still clearly has, it wasn't at that time a thing, but post-traumatic stress from the whole situation. His nun teacher is trying to say he needs counseling. We need to talk to him about this. No, he needs discipline. My methods will work.
And he needs to be face to face with Santa Claus.
Yeah.
she's like comically villainous because she comes into the room and the kids are like opening presents and stuff, and her line is, "I see nothing but greed when there should be gratitude."
Yeah.
I'm like, it's kids who have no families on Christmas, you fuck.
I think she was the prototype for the Robo Santa from Futurama.
Oh my god.
Everyone's on the naughty list except for Dr. Zoidberg.
That's right. So this one, everyone's on the naughty list except, well, actually, I don't even think anyone would be not on the naughty list for her.
Right. Exactly.
Maybe one of the other nuns.
Nothing but greed.
But she kind of treats the other nuns like shit, too.
Well, I have a feeling she's I have a note here, flagellating nuns. I think it's just they're like that monk from the Da Vinci Code who just beats himself because pain is purification. I think she feels that's the same way. I mean, if there's probably scene that they could have wrote where she's beating herself to purify herself, and the only way to purify yourself is through pain. So she purifies herself through pain and everybody else through pain.
So you're basically saying that Mother Superior is Paul Bettany from the Da Vinci Code?
Well, a less pretty version.
A less albino version, maybe.
I stand by what I said. He's a pretty man. Pretty man.
Oh, I thought you said, for some reason I thought you said pricky.
No, pretty.
Oh.
Pretty.
Yeah, Mother Superior is not a whole lot to look at there.
She would be described as a handsome woman.
She is a striking gal.
Yeah, striking everybody she gets a chance to.
Hi-oh! Yeah, and guys, if it doesn't sound like we're talking a lot about the plot, it's because there's not much of one.
No.
Like, stuff just happens.
Yeah, well, poor Billy gets a whooping, and
he does get a whooping.
Then he goes to bed and has a nightmare about his mom being killed and raped by Santa Claus.
So let me ask you a question then, Nathan. What does this movie tell us we should do when that happens?
Well, apparently it's not get up and go to the nearest adult and say, I've had a nightmare, because if you do, they're going to tie you to the bed.
He gets tied to the bed for having a nightmare about his parents that were murdered by Santa.
Yep.
This movie, I am, as we go further and further, I am more and more on board with your revenge fantasy.
Well, Mother Superior, I think, got her child-rearing advice from Chairman Mao. Or possibly Pol Pot.
That's not fair to Pol Pot. Yeah, like, oh my god, she's awful. So, is there anything else you want to say about the orphanage when he's a kid?
No,
I think it ends
covered
with,
it all.
I think it ends with him knocking out Santa Claus.
That's the last scene. He just cold cocks Santa.
So we cut.
Well, no, because he's rocking back and forth saying, I want to be good, I want to be good, I want to be good. And then they just kind of cut to the future. Or the present, I guess, 1984.
Where I have to ask right off the bat, this nun, who is supposedly like, she's the nice nun, right?
She's like the one person who has any redeeming qualities whatsoever.
Now, she's trying to get Billy a job. Why would you get Billy a job at a toy store where Christmas would prominently figure into it?
To be fair, she gets him the job in July.
Yes, but does she think he's gonna be fired in November?
Here's the thing. No, I think it'd be fine. It would have been fine. Just clearly she's using the people that she knows in the community or connections in the small town in Utah where they live. Get Billy a job at the toy store. This whole mess could have been absolutely avoided if she had gone, well, Irv, or Mr. Smith, or what was his name? Mr. Sims.
Sims.
Billy has had some traumatic experiences in life around Christmas time, so if you could reduce his presence in the store out front with all the Christmas decorations and the Santa Claus and everything like that, and just have him work in the stockroom in the back and really downplay the Christmas aspect for him, I think he'll be fine. If she had done that around like November, it would have been perfect. Nobody would have died.
But what do? He's in the back, he's in the front, he's lifting kids up to get boys.
Yeah. And I have a
He's
note
like
here.
full on.
Speaking of people having very few redeeming qualities, when she introduces Billy to Mr. Sims, did it seem that he was checking him out?
Yeah.
Like Mr. Sims was warm
Yes,
to his
it did.
form, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, when they did the slow pan up of his body, and Billy,
Yeah, he's
I
like
was like,
fought all over
whoa.
himself to give him a job then. And then there's a
The
montage.
scene later in the movie where he like tried to touch him or something.
Maybe it was something that was written but never filmed. I don't know. But then there's a montage.
Oh yes, this montage is
The
amazing.
oddest montage ever. Not in the stuff that it's
On
happening.
the warm side of
On
the
the
door.
warm side of the door. It's a very 80s rom-com family Christmas movie type song. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't, because obviously they're trying to play up the fact that Billy's better as a person, but it's
Yeah.
over the top as far as the schmaltziness of it goes.
And I immediately thought I was in a different movie.
Yeah, I did too. It took me right out because it's like this song seems really out of place in this movie.
I don't know what it is, but I really just want to like download it and listen to it.
And it's at this point when I kind of looking at 18-year-old Billy, and he looks like an underjacked John Cena to me.
I love the term you used there.
Underjacked. Well, he's not super pumped. I mean, he's in good shape. The kid's obviously in good shape, but he's not, John Cena. He's like a young John Cena who
like
hasn't discovered, protein powder. Yeah.
Undertaker Jack Swagger hybrid wrestler. Underjack.
Underjacked.
Oh yeah, I get the John Cena thing. I wasn't thinking at the time, but looking back, I could.
Sorry, I had to talk over you there. Jack.
No, I'm just saying
Undertaker.
that I.
Rest in peace.
Unfortunately, they did all see him.
Yes. Anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
Oh. Okay, so we get the montage.
Yep.
That ridiculous montage. And where we get lots of... I love just like the red, like the shots of him laughing. There's one shot of one of his coworkers offering him liquor, and he's like, "No thanks, I got milk." Like, way to just like really over the top. And then like suddenly when we're out of that montage, that coworker is a super asshole.
Oh, the guy who looks like Larry from Three's Company with the fuzzy hair. Yeah, he's a dreadful person.
Like, there's no hint of that in the montage whatsoever.
Nope.
And as soon as we come out of that, he's like, "Why don't you do your fucking job?"
And he says that Billy has an attitude problem.
And then,
Billy's done nothing.
Billy's done nothing. And when Billy says fuck, it felt wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he should have swore at all. Like, because, I don't know, it just felt weird.
It definitely would have made his snapping seem way more out of left field.
Yeah. Like, he says, maybe I don't care about my fucking job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Yes, you do. You have that job because it's the only job you get. Of course you care about your job, Billy. Come on, get it together.
Yeah. So, this is where he, they say you're going to be Santa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question.
Hmm.
Did Billy's hair color change dramatically from when he was a child?
Well, here's the thing. Possibly. It was the 80s. Maybe he just got a lot of sun in Utah in December. Because the mom had tan lines, so, you never know.
That that does make sense. Utah is known for being awfully warm during the Christmas season. Yeah,
He,
so you're right. No, this is a scene where they ask him to be Santa Claus, which again, what the hell? What the hell?
if Billy had just said, no, I can't, uh, it just explained, even just in person, in quiet, in person, just off to the side, or maybe in his office. I'm sorry, Mr. Sims, my parents were killed by a man in a Santa suit.
Yeah. And Mr.
Everything would have been
Sims,
fine.
well, and he seems like an agreeable man.
Yes, he's super nice. Only
Now,
because I'm assuming because he wants to touch Billy, but I mean,
well, to be fair, he doesn't ever try to touch a female.
true.
So, I mean, that could still be in there.
But Billy doesn't say boo and goes home and has nightmares about his parents being killed and his Catholic orphanage PTSD.
And there's a character here that I don't want to say obsessed, but like I'm kind of intrigued by is the woman who talks to Mr. Sims. First of all, they call each other Mr. and Mrs. blah blah blah, which is really weird to me. But the way she talks to him and says we need a Santa Claus and stuff, it sounds like every line of dialogue she's like sounding out as she talks.
Well, that's the introducing as.
That's who that is.
Yeah.
It's all well. Then it's almost like she's like playing her role as if like, yes, it's me,
Mrs. Randall. I don't know why she got an introducing as, because this was her second credit.
It's me, Nancy Borganick.
Yeah.
Does she get an introducing or does she get an and credit?
Maybe it was an and credit, because if she got an introducing credit, like her guest starring credit,
Yeah.
I don't understand why that would happen, because, again, it was her second credit, and her first one was a TV movie called Uncommon Valor. And she played an admitting nurse.
Which everybody has seen. Everybody has seen that. Billy, I know Billy gets an introducing credit, but I thought she got an and. Maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, because she's got a lot of attendant, secretary, clerk type roles.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me one bit. Also, they have a bit here where they're like, well, we need someone to play Santa who's fat. Billy's not fat, by the way.
He's super fit.
Yeah. And they're like, well, I can't play Santa. I'm a woman. It's like, yes, you fucking can. I'm sorry, but yes, you can. You're gonna wear a huge beard and a big suit. They're not gonna know it's a woman.
But had she done that, we wouldn't have gotten treated to whisper threat Santa.
Oh my god.
Little girl Santa. Stop it. You're being good. I'll punish you if you don't stop.
I gotta say, I watched this with part of this with Mariah, and during these scenes where he's whispering to the kid, she just looked up from her phone and said, "Is he playing a pedophile?" And then I said, "No, that's Mr. Sims."
But that's a possibility. Oh no, Billy was 18. Billy was 18.
Barely. Mr. Sims was like, "All right, I guess 18's fine this time." But yeah, Billy as Santa is super creepy. And I don't think it's creepy in the way they wanted it to be.
Yeah, no.
Because it's not scary.
I don't know. I was kind of terrified.
It's just kind of sexual assaulty.
I put myself, regardless of how we see it, I put myself in the shoes of that kid. If Santa had been talking to me like that, I would have reacted the same way as her. I would have cried to my mom.
Yeah, and then they're like, he's so good with kids.
I'll punish you. I'm not doing this for dramatic effect. This is exactly how he sounded. I am doing a spot-on impersonation of Billy as Santa Claus. Be good. I'll punish you. You're being naughty. Would you say that's about right? 100% spot on?
That's exactly what he sounds like.
Thank you.
Oh.
So,
Yeah, no, we're not exaggerating anything, guys. That's what he does.
anyways, during this scene, the nice nun from the orphanage calls to talk to Billy. And the Guido in
Right.
Utah, Andy was his name, says, "Oh, he's out front
Yes,
playing
Andy.
Santa Claus." Why doesn't she just
And
tell
she
him?
reacts in horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, she reacts in horror and hangs up.
She doesn't say, "You should get him in from there right now. He should not be playing Santa Claus. Just take him out from the floor. I'll be down to pick him up in 20 minutes."
It takes her so long to get there.
I know.
Like,
I don't,
we're gonna go over the
stuff that happens while she's...
we're gonna go over what happens in the next scene.
Because, yeah, this is her...
But yeah, she arrives a long time after.
Yeah, the whole time that it takes, like, from her hanging up, okay, starts... The store has time to close up. They have their party. Billy snaps, does his thing, and she doesn't show up until after the carnage is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to mark right now, we're going to talk about what happened, and then we'll let you know when Sister Mary Frances shows up. I don't know her name.
Right. So yeah. So she's already got off the phone, and Billy is still Santa at this point. Like, they haven't even closed up yet.
Right.
So they close up, which is actually, when they close up, Mr. Sims gets excited, and I kind of want to create this into a meme. I kind of want to use this as a meme, like whenever I'm if I'm ever off work at 7, because he says, "Okay, it's 7 o'clock. Time to get shit faced."
It was a very 80s Christmas party, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, right in the store.
Mm-hmm.
In Ira's Toys.
Tons of drinking.
So much drinking. Like, they had alcohol underneath the cash register.
Because they were not in the back room, not in his office, under the cash register, so when they locked the door at 7, they could get, as he said, shit-faced.
In plain sight. Like, if someone was at the cash register buying something, they would see it.
Yep.
Like, it'd be like, "Oh, do you sell alcohol here? Oh, no, that's just for us to get shit-faced when we walk
loud after we close the store tonight."
And Mr. Sims, I gotta say, he goes from sober to drunk very quickly.
Yeah. Well, Billy says some sobering stuff to him. Because he's like, what's on your mind, Billy? "Oh, I was just thinking about my parents." "Oh, that's good. It's good to think about your family at this time of year. They were killed." "Oh, right. I forgot. Sorry about that, Billy."
Yeah. Oh, and we didn't even really talk about her because, I mean, just flat characters all over the place. But there's also a girl that Billy works with at the store that I guess you can kind of tell that he's kind of into.
Yeah, she's kind of sweet on him too.
And he has that dream where they're having sex, and that's the scene I was talking about where you see Billy's hairy ass.
Yeah, and he that's where he wakes up with his orphanage PTSD, rocking back and forth, saying that he wants to be good. He wants to be good.
Right. So this scene is disheartening because he sees her making out with Andy.
Let's just call him what he is. He doesn't deserve a name. He's a flat, two-dimensional character. He's Guido.
He's what? He's Guido?
He is the most New York person in this movie, and they're in Utah.
That's true. He's like, "Hey, we got him playing Santa Claus in the front."
Yep.
"Hey, I got to show you something.
Something in the back. I got a gift."
Yeah. "It's definitely not my penis, if that's what you're wondering."
Spoilers, it totally was.
If anybody in the 80s with a New York accent, ladies, asks you to go to look at something in a back room, don't do it.
No, just keep that in mind if you ever time travel back
to 1984. It's always going to be
his penis.
It's always going to be his penis. None of the time. So, yeah, so anyway, so they start making out. Mr. Sims sees them and tells Billy, You know what to do. Go get him, Santa. Not knowing
Yeah,
what that means to Billy.
it means go kill him.
Well, and like, is Sims trying to tell Billy to like go have a three-way with them?
No, I think he's like, I think maybe he's trying to say go stand up for yourself. You know, I know she's a good girl. You're good for her. He's a scummy Guido. You should probably go and, he's gonna do something bad. I think Mr. Sims knows what Andy's like, and wants Billy to kind of put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, and then maybe afterwards
Hook up with the chick.
work his way in.
Yeah, well,
Talk about Mr. Sims and Billy.
Oh, Jesus.
He's still got that in his Nathan. He hasn't forgotten.
No, I suppose. So Guido becomes a rapist on a dime.
Yeah. He does.
But I don't think it was technically really on a dime. I think he had it in him the whole time.
Oh yeah. Like totally he's a scumbag from minute one. So when he attempts to, this is rape scene number 2, by the way, in a Christmas movie.
Yep.
So when he attempts to rape a flat female character, number 7, I don't know what to call her.
Love interest? I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
When he tries to rape love interest. Oh, that sounds bad.
Billy's love interest. When Guido tries to rape Billy's love interest.
Billy comes in.
Rape a lot. I'm just gonna put that out there.
We have said the word rape a lot. Take a shot every time we say rape. Oh, is that in bad taste?
That's terrible taste.
That's maybe a distasteful drinking game. But if you are...
Billy has a flashback. And then like a calm comes over him.
Oh yeah, because now it's time.
Because it's on. He's saying
it's on like Donkey Kong.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does an impossible act in this scene. He hangs Guido by the Christmas lights, and somehow his neck is covered in blood.
Yeah, and he just lifts him straight up off the ground too.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, is he not just choking him out? Like, why is there so much blood?
I don't know. Maybe it was cheap wire that was cutting through the cords. I don't know.
Those cords are awfully... Well, okay, so if it's cheap wire, it's awfully durable.
Maybe it's cheap rubber around the high-quality rubber or wire, then. Cheap rubber...
Billy suddenly... I mean, Billy's in good shape and everything, but he suddenly gets, like, superhuman strength.
Yeah, because he lifts Guido, like I said, right off the ground.
With one hand.
Yep.
And does he not, at this point, start his thing where when he's killing someone, he says, "Punish."
Naughty.
Yep. No, he says both.
Well, probably, because when you're naughty, Santa punishes you, like Grandpa said.
Yeah, for the longest time he says punish, and then suddenly he switches up to naughty. I feel like when they were shooting the movie, he was like, naughty. Oh, actually, you were saying punish earlier? You know what? Fuck it. Just keep going.
Interchangeable.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like, punish or naughty. And it creates a lot of funny moments because there's scenes where he just pops up out of nowhere and he just goes, naughty! I laugh.
But the next thing that happens, it kind of bothered me. I mean, well, I guess not as much as the...
Oh, you mean the rest of this movie did bother you?
Not as... Well, it didn't bother me as much as the other 2 rapes that have happened previously, but... he stopped her from getting full-on raped, and she says he's crazy. I mean, at this point, he's stopped, and yeah, he killed him, of course. Okay, that's a given. But he was going to commit grievous bodily harm in a sexual manner against you, but Billy's the one who's crazy for stopping him. And
right.
It's hammer time.
She oh my god. So in her mind, she would have rather the rape had just gone on like as scheduled.
I guess.
Not my hero
No, not my hero,
Says
or
you're
thank you for
crazy.
stopping him, or we need to call somebody, or anything like that. You know, because even if they
Or
had
at
called the
least running
cops,
away.
yeah, even if she had run away or called the cops or anything like that, if the cops had come, she would have been like, no, yeah, he's dead because Billy stopped him from raping me.
Yeah.
There's not a whole.
Also,
There's a lot of plot
so
holes in
Billy,
this movie that could be easily fixed, but I don't think they were because it would have gotten in the way of the revenge fantasy of the writer.
right? They at this point there was blood in their eyes, and they were just like, you know what, just get to the kill,
Yep.
because they didn't want to fuck around. Um, so at this point, so he kills her.
Yep.
Billy kills her because he has to punish her, of course, because she was getting raped. That's another thing.
Well, no, it wasn't because he. She's not on the naughty list because she was being raped. She's now on the naughty list because she's calling him bad names. She's saying, you're crazy, you're insane, get the hell away from me. That's what put her on the naughty list. Not the rape, it was the
Okay.
reaction.
See, I thought he killed her because she was having sex, but she was getting raped. I thought he just interpreted that as the same thing.
I could see how you could see that.
I mean, to Billy, rape and sex are one and the same.
It might be. It
But,
might be
that's not.
like
That's
that.
not even.
No,
That's not even a
legitimately there
joke.
might be that because the only time he's ever seen any sort of sexualization has been with violence. His mother was raped.
Right.
The other two, the teenagers in the orphanage, were having sex, and then they got beaten by Mother Superior. So obviously he would connect sex and violence.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. That's what I think. If Mother Superior was a serial, she would be Billy in this movie.
If she was what?
Like he if Mother Superior was like full on a serial killer,
Oh, okay.
she would like. I think Billy would be. She basically would be Billy in this movie because he reacts to like moral, like low moral. Just something I would think that she would do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's again like the Robo Sander from Futurama, where everyone's on the naughty list.
Yeah. So at this point, so he kills both of them. Mr. Sims says he's out front and he says he hears something. But if he just heard something, wouldn't he just assume that it was them having sex, like the Guido and female blah 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 having sex? Like would he just? I don't know. It seems weird that he's just hearing something now.
Yeah, don't forget though, Billy went in the back of the stock room. So he might be concerned because him and Guido could be fighting now.
And he doesn't want anyone to hurt his sweet innocent Billy.
No, he doesn't. But then, yeah,
So
Mr.
Sims goes back there.
Hammer time.
Hammer time. Why, Mr. Sims? What did he do?
He was drunkard. I don't know. At this point,
okay.
we're definitely getting into Robo Santa territory where everybody is on the naughty list because this is when he goes off the rails and just kills almost everybody.
Yeah, because now this is another part that was weird to me because he kills Mr. Sims and then the girl. Oh, where did Mr. Sims go? And they kind of have like a chase sequence.
Yep.
But he starts like he between what we expect him to do, and then he starts like reciting "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" to like stalk her and be weird. But that's not really like his character. Like it's a weird.
Yeah, because it gives it more of a it makes it more of a I've been like this and I'm gonna be calm and methodical in the way I'm doing this, as opposed to I've snapped and I'm just going to be spree killing. So
like it's weird because it just doesn't. If it was like Freddy Krueger doing that, then fine.
Yeah, because
but it wasn't.
He's methodical. And it's a serial killer versus a spree killer because they're two separate things. And I know I feel that we're talking about a lot of serious things in this podcast in regards to mental health, but there is a difference between a spree killer and a serial killer. A serial killer is very methodical. They do several kills over a bigger period of time, whereas a spree killer just kills as many people in a short period of time.
Right. And why is there a real bow and arrow in a toy store?
It was the 80s. It was a different time. Honest to God.
No, you do not get away with that.
I don't. I honestly do. I could have easily bought a bow and arrow at at a retail toy store in the 80s. They're starter archery kits. Man, they sold BB guns to kids in toy stores back then.
Good Lord.
Well, you know.
Well, you know what?
At least we're not a bunch of pussies. Damn millennials.
You friggin' liberals and hippies.
So.
Yeah. So he kills everyone, and then as soon as he leaves, the nun arrives.
The nun arrives. My wife pointed out, because I made her sit through this.
How nice of you.
I know, right? It's a Christmas movie. She pointed out that the old lady, the one Mrs. Whatterface is, looks like Jim Verney when he plays like an old lady character in any of the Ernest movies. Like the neck brace when her talks like this. She looks like a man, and she looks like Ernest when he plays like his grandmother or something.
Oof. It's gotta hurt.
She's not wrong.
You look like Jim Varney in drag. Oh man.
So yeah, she gets
R.I.P.
killed.
Jim Varney.
Yes. And the nun shows up. All this stuff that we talked about happened between when she hung up to now.
And like, you don't get of space in this movie, but I'm guessing they're not that far from the toy store.
Well, I'm guessing not either. But Billy doesn't show up to the orphanage, spoiler alert, for the final scene until early next morning. But he's on foot.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But he's on foot.
Yeah. She's clearly driven over.
Yeah, she's got a car.
Oh my god. So, now we just start killing random people.
Yes.
Because we see...
Here's my note. Now for the unrelated murders.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're familiar with this the next victim. I forget how to pronounce her name. It might be Linnea or Linnea.
Oh, she's like a scream queen. It's like Queen of Bee Scream.
Yeah, so of course immediately she is naked.
Yep.
Having sex on a pool table.
It was the 80s. That's the
a
only thing
house.
they had sex on.
In a house where there's beds.
It was the 80s. The only place you were allowed to have sex in the 80s was on a pool table. Come on, Brendan.
Listen, I don't know what you were doing, but...
Well, I was 6 in 84, so I wasn't having sex.
So you weren't having sex on pool tables when you were 6 in 1984?
No.
Well, that's good.
So, yeah, it definitely
because
you
love this movie,
in 1984, I was 6.
So they're having sex on the pool table.
They're having sex on the pool table. The little girl she's babysitting is going to come downstairs. Of course, she stops her. No. And then she hears a noise at the door.
Line. Yeah.
What's that?
There's a line here I wrote down that really disturbed me.
Go for it.
She says, Linnea Quigley yells up to the little girl, and she says, "If you don't go back to bed, Santa won't come." And the guy says, "He's not the only one."
Oh yeah, he's a lech.
Ew.
So the little girl goes back to bed, and she hears somebody at the door, and she's like, "Oh, hold on a second, I'll go check," and puts her pants on, but not her top.
But no shirt.
In
She
December,
answers the door completely topless.
in Utah.
Because she thinks it's her cat.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. She thought it was the
That
cat.
knocked on the
Right.
door.
Sorry. My bad.
That knocked on the fucking door.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a shot outside that we could have seen like Billy knock on the door and then like hiding behind a tree. Because that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, she answers that she open and she's got her breasts are fully exposed.
Mm-hmm. Thank you
Okay,
for that, by the way.
So this for what?
I'm thanking her for that in case she's listening.
Oh, okay.
She did me a cert.
A big thank you from Nathan there.
There you go. Fine
There you go,
young lady
Linnea.
in 1984. I'm sure
She was. Right now, she also had a very famous. She also had a some strip scene in Return of the Living Dead, which is a much better movie than this.
I don't know. Return of the Living Dead's also pretty terrible.
Wait a second.
No, I stand by that. I've seen it. I've seen it a few times, and it's enjoyable, but it's dreadful.
Oh no! I'm not on board with that.
I don't
love
care.
that movie.
Don't care.
Hey,
let's get to Santa Lumberjack.
Okay, so yeah, so she anyway he says he jumps out of nowhere and says punish, and it's the first big laugh I got from that. The most hilarious thing though is when they cut back to the pool table, he's playing pool
in apparently a soundproof basement, because all this carnage is happening upstairs. He doesn't hear one thing.
Oh, she's getting like thrown around, she's getting hit.
She's getting impaled on a deer.
Yeah, she gets impaled on a deer, guys.
Which I have a note.
On a fucking deer.
Oh, dear.
Oh, God, Lord. You mystery science that part.
I totally did.
So, question then. When the guy goes down to look for her, or goes up, I guess, to look for her, the way they frame the scene, how did he not immediately see her body? Because
I
he
actually have that. He has no peripheral vision at all.
At all. He walks in the direction where her body is. He is literally right next to it, and he has to completely turn his body around to see her.
Yep.
Maybe they could have they could have at least had him wearing glasses or something.
Again, I don't think a lot of this stuff they gave a crap about, because if they did, it would have gotten in the way of the revenge fantasies.
But wouldn't he see her on the wall? It doesn't matter. He needs to die.
Throw him out a window.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, but he does get a good shot on Billy when he kicks him in the balls.
Yes.
And then he just says, he's down. I'll just make this phone call to the police now.
Yeah.
Don't check and see if he's dead or anything.
Yeah. He's killed your girlfriend. Don't put the finishing touches on him.
Oh God! And then after he kills him, how
Cindy
disturbing
Lou
is that
Who
next
comes
scene?
out.
Oh God!
She comes out and I'm like,
I thought that was
going to end badly as well.
I thought she was dead.
I was like, is he going to murder Cindy Lou Who? Nope. Here's a murder weapon.
He gives her the knife. You know what would have been great if, after he gave her the knife, like if he had given her the weapon he used to kill the couple, that the police arrived and they thought like the kid did it. And they had like the movie just changed into like a courtroom drama.
Like a whole Mikey type of thing.
Yeah. Like
incidentally, happy birthday, Brian Bonsall.
I was thinking it would be like a Menendez brothers type deal.
Well, I mean, she was way younger than that, so.
No, I know. It's just a young child on trial.
Right. Then the cops have a case of mistaken identity. I think you were going to get to that.
Oh, yes. When they see the dad as Santa, climbing through the window.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, no, later, but this is the start of it. But yeah, they see a guy crawling through the window. Okay, I gotta give them credit for this one though, because it would be weird.
It would be, but
Because they're
I have a
for a
feeling.
killer Santa.
Here's the thing, though. In 1984, if there wasn't a killer Santa Claus on the loose, that might have been handled a tad differently. Like the cops maybe would have gone up to the front door and said, asked the mother who would have answered the door, is your husband doing a Santa Claus thing for one of your kids or something like that? It would have been handled maybe like that. That probably the biggest extreme that would have gotten, but it would not have been super uncommon for that sort of thing to happen in the 80s. Dude, it was a Wild West. I'm gonna tell you this, man. I grew up in a good portion of the 80s. Like the first 10 years of my life pretty much happened. Like the ones that I can remember happened in that decade. I'm not gonna start eating the member berries and say how great it was compared to today. It was definitely different. I'm glad I grew up then, but I'm certainly glad that I have the internet now. And better video game graphics.
And also, were you about to say the 80s were the best decade?
I was, they were good. I'm not going to say that they weren't, because, there's a lot of really cool technological advances, and some pretty sweet movies got made, and some awesome television.
I think people tend to romanticize whatever dialogue they were, or whatever dialogue, whatever decade they were grown up in.
Yep, that's like I said, that's the member berries.
Yeah. Like I grew up in the 90s. The 90s were fun. I wouldn't say they were the best.
Well, you know what? A good majority of my second set of formative years were in the 90s, and I definitely loved the time as well. But I'm not gonna sit around and look through rose-colored glasses on them, because it's one of those things that a lot of people do. They look at it and they say, "Oh, it was the best time." It's like, "Oh, remember the 2 months when you were in grade 6 and the bullies gave you wedgies every day and threw you in the mud? Great times. Great times."
And plus, looking through rose-colored glasses is such a 60s thing to do.
But those were the best decades.
Yeah, that was the best decade.
Anyways, we're off track.
Yeah, a
Sledding.
little bit. So, oh my god, yes. Go ahead.
There's a couple of high schoolish kids that are gonna go sledding in
by 30.
What's that? Oh yeah,
one of them is definitely 35.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
They're going sledding on Christmas Eve in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like an odd time to be going sledding.
I agree with you 100%.
And I actually was afraid for one of them, because he had a Boston Red Sox hat on, and everybody knows all Boston Red Sox fans are on the naughty list.
Oh wow. Shit.
Yankees forever, bitch.
You just politicized this podcast.
But anyhow, they're talking about, speaking of, as I was at bullies, they're going on about the bullies at their school and how much they suck. And then, surprise, the bullies show up and take their sleds. So,
Didn't see that coming.
Not only are there two socially odd high school kids sledding in the middle of the night in the woods on Christmas Eve, their bully counterparts are also walking around the forest on Christmas Eve.
Right. And, are they... they're pretty lame bullies if all they want to do is sled.
Yeah, that's it. They take their sleds, and then they're going sledding instead.
You're like, yeah, bro, now we can sled down.
Does it make sense? No. But if we tried to make sense, it would just get in the way of the revenge fantasy.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pretty good kill, I'm going to say.
Oh, yes. For all the ridiculousness.
This might be my favorite kill.
It's pretty great. So
because Billy beheads one of them.
down No
Yeah.
problems at all. He gets to the bottom, and then his friend takes off. Going down the hill at a good clip. Billy decapitates him.
And
Please go ahead.
the best, I love the part that happens right after that, is that the kid slides down and you see his decapitated body, and the other kid has the best reaction I've ever seen. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I wrote it down that it was an amazing reaction, and I can't remember what it was, but
Well,
I know it was.
He's just like in
insane.
absolute shock and awe that his friend was decapitated by Santa Claus while they're sledding. And then he gets killed.
But yeah, it kind of reminded me of when I saw that reaction when we did Gamera last episode.
Mm-hmm.
That woman saw her dog get killed, get
eaten by the
killed
Gauss
by a
bird.
Gauss.
Yeah.
That is why I love it. Was amazing. But yeah, like literally, that scene just exists for Billy to kill people.
I gotta read this one because second bully got decapitated. That was a real sleigh ride. This movie was supposed to be called Sleigh Ride.
Did you
just
notice?
For anybody who wanted to know that bit of trivia, this movie was supposed to be called Sleigh Ride and got changed to Silent Night, Deadly Night before it was released.
And apparently they didn't change the copyright because at the end it says Sleigh Ride Inc.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, it's like Sleigh Ride Incorporated production or something like that. So, I mean, they might have...
Well, they probably... Because it was I think it was the producers that changed it, so there was probably... Everything was all done and summed up when they were getting ready to go into post-production.
You know, Sleigh Ride is actually a better title.
Yeah, but it's not as shocking.
Like,
it doesn't have the religious connotations.
Yeah, I guess so. It doesn't really describe the movie very well. Like, I get the pun, but I think it's a snappier title.
Yeah. And so after all this, everyone, now the cops know there's a killer Santa on the loose, and they're actively looking for him. It's now Christmas Day in Utah. There is a lush green grass in front of the cop shop in Utah.
Yeah, there sure is. It sure is looking like Christmas.
There's so much continuity with the that changes with the background scenes in the next bunch, right to the end essentially, that it was off-putting.
And then he also, when she says, "Is everything okay?" and he says, "All bad, sister." That just made me laugh.
3 more murders.
Yeah, all bad, sister. Oh, and why can't they, Nathan? Why can't they call the orphanage to warn them that Santa may be coming their way?
Oh, because one of the little girls was playing with the phone, and her dolly was making a phone call, and she didn't hang up the phone properly.
Well, that's convenient.
Indeed.
Okay, so we've talked about some rotten things that some characters have done. Mm-hmm. We've talked about obviously Billy ends up being like a murderer. However, it can be argued that what this cop does is 100 times worse.
Oh, I know, right?
Else. So they see Santa at the orphanage, mm-hmm. and they think, "Oh shit, it's Billy! Hey, come back here!" Santa doesn't have a weapon. He doesn't have a gun. He's unarmed. The cop shoots Santa 3 times in the back.
Yep. That'll stop the
trauma. And it is, yeah, right in front of Ricky too. By the way. Billy's brother. It is a deaf priest. The cop shot a deaf priest in the back and killed him.
The cop shot a deaf priest dressed as Santa in front of children and killed him.
Like, he's getting fired, right?
Well, either that or, relocated to L.A.
Like, and the reaction, the overall reaction, the kids obviously freak out, but Mother Superior is just like, okay, well, you made us all very sad. And he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry, God.
Yeah, it's pretty light reaction to shooting Santa Claus priest in front of kids on Christmas Day. On Christmas Day.
Yeah. So all those kids, I'm assuming, become like Billy.
I'm guessing.
But instead, oh my God, wouldn't it be great if there's a sequel where all those kids dress up as cops and they start just
cop.
That's it. And they just start offing people dressed as Santa. They go into the mall and just start shooting mall Santas.
Yeah. Well, the best part, after the cops shot Priest Santa on Christmas Day in front of all the kids, they get all the kids inside, and the Mother Superior's like, stop moping.
Yeah.
Stop being so depressed. They just saw Santa Claus get killed in front of them.
Again, Mother Superior, awful.
A dreadful, dreadful woman.
For me, it goes Mother Superior at the top of the evil list. Sorry, I should say at the top of the naughty list. I would put that cop who killed Priest Santa second. Like, Billy is maybe third.
But the cops stick around because they know he's on his way.
Right, because they already killed
it better be good
the priest, so the next Santa they kill. They already killed the priest, so the next Santa they see is probably going to be Billy.
We're like 80% sure it's Billy.
Yeah, you might as well just shoot him in the back as soon as he gets there.
So
without saying.
They get all the kids inside, and Mother Superior's inside, and the cops are kind of like patrolling the perimeter. And one of the cops sees it looks like a root cellar. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like
which we haven't seen once up to this point, by the way.
No. And he goes down might as well go I'm looking for a killer Santa Claus. Might as well go down to this deep, dark cellar.
Yeah, he's probably in here.
Yep. He's not. Find nothing.
Oh,
and he unzips his jacket as he's coming out. Again, it's Utah in December. And as soon as he did that, I leaned to my wife and I said, that's where the squibs are. The only reason he's unzipping that jacket is because he's going to get killed and he's getting it right in the chest. It's the only reason why he unzipped that.
It was not a script choice.
It's a wardrobe choice.
And is this where he says... Oh, no, he says punish here, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Or he says, yeah. Punish!
Yep. Squibs.
Yeah, cop is dead, and I say good. He was an awful person. Guys, I'm just going to reiterate this. I know we said it a few times. He shot an unarmed deaf priest dressed as Santa in front of kids on Christmas Day.
Yep.
In the back. 3 times. Without saying anything.
And offered a kind of half-hearted apology.
Barely apologized, and somehow he is not the villain. Oh my God. And I get what they were trying to do is have like a fake out where you thought, oh, they got Billy. Oh no, they didn't. But I mean, they could have come up with so many other ways to do that.
Yeah.
It's so dark. In a movie this dark, that sticks out a lot. Billy also has another kill before he gets into the orphanage.
You mean Frosty?
He kills Frosty, decapitates him.
Frosty, no!
What did Frosty do?
He did some unsettling things with that carrot nose of his.
Oh my lord.
Punish.
Oh, and in this scene, I don't remember the line, but Mother Superior basically tells the children there's no Santa Claus.
Well, Or that wasn't Santa Claus.
But no, I think she says that wasn't Santa Claus. There is no Santa
Oh, I must have
Claus.
missed that. I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what happens. Okay, so this is the big finale, folks.
Yep.
So I'm like praying that he kills Mother Superior. Herein lies the problem too. Who are we rooting for?
Yeah.
Like, Billy is a psychopath now. Mother Superior is a psychopath creator.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I guess the kids?
I guess we're rooting for their safety.
Yeah, like, it's, like...
And here's the thing. If Mother Superior had, gotten her, and then Billy had gotten it, they'd be safe. And I guess good would have triumphed?
Yeah, exactly. I don't, like...
Slaughter?
Oh, my God. So... wait, no, correct me if I'm wrong. When they kill Billy, do they also shoot him in the back?
Yeah. I actually have a note here. The cops have killed 2 Santas in front of kids at an orphanage on Christmas Day.
They're like, well, second try, I guess. The kids have seen Santa die twice.
Yep.
By the way, on Christmas. And, Mother Superior immediately after that was probably like, oh, quit your moping. Santa died twice. It's not a big deal. Merry Christmas.
It's traditional Irish Catholic nun. It's really not to do about Santa. It's Jesus' birthday.
It's going to be Easter soon anyway. Calm down.
Yeah, we can talk about death then.
Everybody get ready for New Year's. It's going to be awful.
Traditional Catholic Irish nun.
I would like a spin-off with this character.
Where everything's terrible.
It's just a horror movie because she's just beating children for 90 minutes.
Suck it up. Tomorrow's going to be worse. It always is.
If you think that's the worst thing that's happened to you, think again. We still got the rest of today.
We can do it now, Bren. We can do it now.
Oh my God!
Starring Becky Lynch.
Should we do a Kickstarter? What do we call it? We could go simplistic and just go like Superior or something.
Well, we could. I'm really trying to think of a good play on words with none.
The untitled Mother Superior project from Silent Night, Deadly Night. I just love the idea of her just like cheering up children by reminding them that other things are gonna be worse. You just got a cut on your knee. If you think that's bad, wait till you see the scars I leave on your back.
So we can get away from this awesome idea we've had. We get the closer. The kids are safe now that Santa's dead.
Now that Santa's dead twice.
And one of the kids is naughty.
Do you know which kid that is?
I'm assuming it's Ricky.
It is Ricky.
Because it's hard to tell because it's 10 years later.
Because the sequel is Ricky as the killer.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Then you can watch the third one, which is also connected to it, and then just fuck off because 4 and 5 have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they're literally like...
They're Halloween. Much worse.
They're like the Halloween 3 to that series. If you think Silent Night, Deadly Night was a terrible movie, well then just hush up because part 2 is worse.
That's it and enjoy it.
Yeah, best enjoy it because in the second one they show 50% of the first one. So just shut your mouths and have fun.
So that's Silent Night, Deadly Night. Wrap up.
And yeah, you know what I noticed we haven't been doing on the podcast since we started. We haven't been like I know I've noticed a lot of people say whether they would recommend people watch it or not. So would you recommend people watch this film, Nathan?
Oof. If you're a horror connoisseur, yes. It's if you're even remotely squeamish, I would not watch it.
No, if you can take some blood and gore and you enjoy seeing Santa Claus get killed in front of children,
The
I
movie
think you should watch.
is, to put it lightly, highly unsettling in
Yes,
many places. Like very, very unsettling in many places.
this is a movie in which there are at least five, I'd say 5 or 6 people who are completely naked. There are 2 rape scenes.
Yep.
People get killed in front of children. Mother Superior is always reminding you that tomorrow is a worse day.
Santa's the one doing all the killing too.
Yeah.
Like not even just Billy. Like the killer at the opening scenes is Santa Claus as well.
I'd say put it on in the morning while you're unwrapping presents with the kids and see what happens.
I started watching it at some of it at work, and I had to stop because I was afraid I was gonna get fired.
You're like, they're like, is he watching porn?
Well, there was that, and there was also the mutilations. So I mean,
Is he watching a snuff film?
it definitely had that quality to it.
Now, if you watch the unrated version, folks, it's going to be a lot worse. Like, if you just find, like, the 79-minute version, it's probably not as violent.
But it's still pretty reprehensible.
Yes, you will still see Santa Claus getting killed twice in front of children.
Yep.
I just want to reiterate how awful
And
is.
there's still all the raping.
Oh, yeah, there's still 2 rapes.
It's just not as graphic.
Right. Yeah, you still got all the implied violence. You just don't see the grisly aftermath all the time.
You have to be someone who is of the mindset that I'm gonna, experience all the most notorious horror movies to derive any sort of enjoyment or accomplishment from this movie.
Although I gotta say, as a movie with like ridiculous scenes and insane things that happen, I enjoyed it on that level.
Oh, I did. Again, for what they made it for and what they were really kind of going for, the movie succeeds. It's, it's competently made. It's well shot. There's no real character arcs or anything like that other than, kind of
no.
Billy's. But, for a slasher movie with a real niche kind of genre, it's good, like in that regard. But it's not. If you were to ask somebody to get this for you as a gift, they might stop being friends with you.
Nathan, that reminds me.
I saw a Blu-ray copy of it the other day, actually. After I already watched it and everything like that, I was at like a used record and DVD store, and they had a copy of it on Blu-ray, and I almost bought it, but then I was
How much do they want for
$10.
Well, it's not bad.
Yeah, but I felt that if I'd bought it and put it on my shelf, I'm really saying something about myself, and that's not something I want to say about myself.
Wouldn't it be great if there was a commentary track by like Mother Superior? Well, if you don't like this scene,
just
well,
wait.
I got good news
it gets
for
worse.
You. The next one is even more violent and rapey. Just wait, it gets worse. Okay, if we get this, if this movie gets made, that is definitely the tagline.
If you don't like the first scene, just wait, it gets worse.
Yep. And the poster would be Mother Superior just like pointing her finger in your face and like looking upset.
I don't need to play on words with the word none. The name of the movie, our sister of perpetual suffering. That would be the title.
There you go. Oh my god, the name of that orphanage makes so much more sense now. He's like, what do you want to call the orphanage? I don't know. How about something awful like perpetual suffering? Oh, I was thinking like maybe like Arvalia like hearts, something along those lines. No, let's go with the perpetual suffering. It needs to be as violent as possible. Wow. How did you get this job? I was going to go to the army, but I kind of fell into it.
I felt Jesus calling me.
I found Jesus calling. Oh, is that
Are
like
you sure it was Jesus? Are you sure it wasn't Satan?
Yeah. Oh my God. Satan. So before we wrap up, you want to drop a hint as to our... Oh, before you do, actually, our next show will actually drop on Christmas Day.
Oh, there you go.
So on Christmas Day, while you're opening presents, you can listen to us talk about a shitty movie.
That's your opinion. I know what movie it is.
Well, I mean shitty in the sense that, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's the usual type of film we cover. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So my first hint: Christmas in Florida. There you go. Christmas in Florida. In Florida.
There you go, guys.
Yep.
It's obviously going to be Christmas movie because that's what we're doing for the month of December, and that'll be Christmas Day, and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled episodes. The next one would be on the 10th of January, and then we'll just go the usual schedule from there.
Okay. So, Brandon.
Yeah.
After all the raping, all the killing.
The second one was worse than the first.
Kept getting worse.
Yes.
After they thought that not only a killer Santa Claus was a good idea, but killing Santa Claus on Christmas Day in front of orphans twice was a good idea.
Yes.
I just have to ask.
Ask away.
What were they thinking?